Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're decoding a deeply profound ancient text that drops an absolute truth bomb. We're looking at why combining practical action with mind-bending wisdom is literally the only real way to hack your reality. Right out of the gate, this text busts a very common modern myth. We tend to think that just finding calm, achieving that deep meditative zen known as shamatha, is the ultimate finish line, right? Well, the text explicitly says that when yogis achieve this calm, sure, they might gain intense focus or even clairvoyance. But there is a massive catch. Without specific training and something called transcendent prajna, your deepest mental blocks just cannot be removed. You could literally be the calmest person in the room, but you are still completely stuck. So, to make sense of these complex Sanskrit terms, here's our quick roadmap. 1. The limits of meditation. 2. The ultimate balancing act. 3. Defining transcendent prajna. 4. The logic of emptiness. And 5. The nature of all things. Let's jump straight into part 1, the limits of meditation, and why calm just isn't enough. Verse 42 gets right to the core of the problem here. We all have obscurations. Think of them like smudges on the lens of how we view the world. You've got afflictive smudges, which are basically your messy emotional disturbances. And then you have cognitive smudges, which are fundamental illusions about how the universe actually works. To wipe that lens completely clean, quiet meditation alone is not going to cut it. You have to actively combine the wisdom of transcendent prajna with its means. It's a two-part recipe. You simply can't bake the cake if you leave a major ingredient out. Which brings us to part 2, the ultimate balancing act and the serious danger of missing pieces. This brilliantly illustrates the danger of taking spiritual shortcuts. If you possess deep philosophical wisdom, prajna, but you have absolutely no skillful means, meaning no practical action, you end up in bondage. And on the flip side, if you're out there taking all the right actions in the world, but you totally lack the wisdom of prajna, you also end up chained down. Having a big brain without a good heart, or a good heart with zero understanding of reality, they both lead to a total dead end. The text is super clear. Don't discard either one. They're basically two wings of the exact same bird. You absolutely need both to fly. Now, based on verse 44, you're probably asking yourself, okay, but what exactly is the difference between skillful means and prajna? It is so easy to just throw these buzzwords around, so let's eliminate the guesswork entirely and anchor our understanding with some crystal clear definitions. Moving into part 3, defining transcendent prajna and unlocking the two main heroes of our text. As verse 45 explains, skillful means represents your practical behavioral actions in the physical world. It encompasses all of your virtuous qualities. The text specifically highlights transcendent generosity as the prime example here. It's all about how you act, how you give, and how you actually engage with other people. The key takeaway? These means are completely distinct from prajna itself. This is very much the doing side of the equation. Meanwhile, verse 47 defines the other half of the duo, transcendent prajna. Prajna is the deep philosophical knowing of inherent emptiness. It's the profound realization that the fundamental building blocks of reality, what the text refers to as the aggregates and elements, which is essentially the physical matter and mental concepts that make up you, do not actually arise with any solid, independent existence. So if skillful means is your virtuous action, transcendent prajna is the ultimate understanding that the stage you're acting on is fundamentally empty. Verse 46 outlines how all of this builds into a unified, incredibly effective procedure. Step 1, cultivate those practical means, that active generosity. Step 2, actively meditate on selflessness, which is exactly that transcendent prajna we just defined. And step 3, beings who combine these swiftly achieve enlightenment. I really want you to notice the emphasis on swiftly there. Meditating on selflessness all by itself isn't some magic bullet. It's the combination of the two that acts as the real catalyst. Let's head into part 4, the logic of emptiness, where we start peeling back the layers of reality. Verse 48 uses this incredibly poetic and honestly pretty funny image to explain a very heavy concept about coming into existence. It's the idea of the sky flower. The text argues that it's totally illogical for something that already exists to arise. I mean, it's already here. It doesn't need to happen again. It also says it's totally illogical for something completely non-existent to arise, like a literal flower trying to spontaneously sprout out of the empty sky. Because a sky flower doesn't exist. It can't suddenly be born. By applying this exact logic, the text breaks down our fundamental assumption that solid objects just kind of poof into existence. To take this even further, verse 49 presents a famous logical breakdown known as a tetralemma. Let's carefully walk through this together. Think of a plant. First, it doesn't arise purely from itself. Second, it doesn't arise purely from another entirely separate thing. Third, it doesn't arise from a combination of both of those. And fourth, it certainly doesn't arise randomly without any cause at all. Because absolutely none of these four logical boxes hold up under extreme scrutiny, the text concludes that things inherently have no fixed nature. They are entirely empty of a permanent, independent self. And finally, part 5, the nature of all things, and our ultimate philosophical conclusion. Verse 50 gives us a systematic framework for analyzing literally anything, any thought, any object, any phenomenon at all. When you analyze whether these things are a single, solid entity or if they're a collection of multiple entities, what happens? The text states it clearly. No essence is observed. If you look closely enough for the one solid thing making up an object, say, trying to find the ultimate carness of a car, you can't find it. If you try to find it in the multiple parts scattered all over the garage floor, well, you can't find a core essence there either. Because no essence is found in either scenario, everything is definitively ascertained to have absolutely no fixed nature. And as verse 51 points out, this is not just some isolated theory passing through one ancient text. This profound conclusion that the nature of all things is emptiness is heavily backed up by the logic in major foundational works. It specifically cites the 70 verses and the root middle way. So we're talking about a massive, logically rigorous tradition designed to systematically dismantle our deepest illusions about a solid, permanent reality. I want to leave you with this final thought. We've just seen that ultimate freedom requires an equal partnership between practical, generous action and the deep wisdom that reality isn't solid. So take a second and look at the physical objects around you right now, or even consider your current emotions. Are they truly single, solid things? Are they multiple? If you look close enough, can you actually observe their permanent essence? If everything requires both skillful means and the wisdom of emptiness, what solid illusion are you currently holding on to that might be causing your own bondage? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep analyzing, and keep practicing both the means and the wisdom.